Okay, it's working. Okay, so today, as Easter is approaching next week, I wanted to take a minute, just kind of share with you a word from the Lord here in Mark chapter 8. You know, as Easter's coming up, a lot of people prepare in different ways. Some people may choose to fast, and some people may choose a special Lent program where they deny themselves. I have a friend who actually gave up coffee for 40 days. One year he gave up sweets and sugary things for 40 days. And he said it was a real blessing to him and really helped him to experience, I guess, a better, fuller time with the Lord for preparing for Easter. You know, some people would say that's an external thing. You need to focus on the inside. And that may be true, but I think the greatest mistake is to not prepare and to not be ready for Easter, to just let it slide on by. And I know that in my life, I can remember one year where, like Easter afternoon, after dinner, I was thinking, wow, this was no different than any other Sunday. And I really felt like I had missed it. I didn't know why. Maybe I was just too busy. It's a few years ago, but boy, I do remember that time in my life. And I don't want that again. And so for me, what I want to share with you is not a program or a special devotional, but just a word from the Lord about keeping the main thing the main thing. As Christ, in this section, he reveals he is the Christ to the disciples, and then he gives them the plan as it is for how he'll be revealed to the world as the Christ, through death, burial, and resurrection. And so the disciples, it kind of went over their head. They didn't get it. Jesus started going this way, and they were going this way. And I know for me, as Easter approaches, I want to be walking in step with the Lord. I want my heart to be right. I want to be walking in the Spirit. I want to be celebrating, rejoicing the resurrection, and doing that with those around me. And so let's turn to Mark chapter 8, verse 31. But before we read, I want to give you the background. This is, just before this section, is the great confession by Peter, where Peter looks at Jesus and he says, "You are the Christ." And then Jesus does not deny it, but he says, "Hey, don't tell anybody just yet. We got to keep this quiet because his time was not ready." And next, Jesus is going to reveal to them what's going to happen in the future and how he's going to reveal to the world that he is the Christ. So let's read. "And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed after 3 days and rise again." And he said this plainly. Note that. It wasn't some proverb he was saying. He said this plainly. "And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But turning and seeing his disciples, he rebuked Peter and said, 'Get behind me, Satan, for you're not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man.'" Wow, that stings. So, in one breath, Peter's confessing the great confession, "You are the Christ." Moments later, Jesus saying, "You're Satan, get behind me." Wow. So, Peter, we know Peter often represents the group, that he's kind of the ringleader of the disciples. And so they're probably all on board with his plan as well. So he feels comfortable in representing them and saying, "Oh, Jesus, you're going this way." No, we're going this way. We're not going to let that happen. But Jesus informs him that you're not setting your mind on the things of God. You're setting your mind on the things of man. And so, wow, I want to make sure that as I prepare my heart, prepare myself for this Easter season to celebrate fully, I want to make sure that my mind and my heart is set on the things of God. And so, next, Jesus is going to put him back on track, per se. And I want to make sure that I'm on track as well. Let's listen to what Christ says next to stay in step with him in the direction he's going. And calling the crowd to him, not just the disciples, he called the crowd with him and his disciples and said to them, if anyone will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? For what can a man give in return for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes with his Father with the holy angels. In the glory of his Father with the holy angels. So we see here the path of going with Christ. The path is this. First step, self-denial. Self-denial is a big thing. As we think about how Jesus modeled self-denial, we never see Jesus. I think the only time we see Jesus asking for something is on the cross when he said, I thirst. So, other than that, he's not concerned with eating and drinking. He attended a lot of banquets and a lot of parties, yes, but his main concern was teaching and preaching, ministering, healing, casting out demons. As you see, even with the woman at the well, the disciples had went on to get food. He was still about his Father's business. As you see in other situations, he goes to towns, heals everybody, teaches. There was one period, I think, of 2 complete days, teaching, preaching, healing. And so his life was not about him. It was about humbly denying himself so that he could honor his Father. The next part is this. Take up the cross and follow me. To obey Christ. To take up the mantle of the gospel. To put on the gospel. That the gospel becomes the foundation for life. And to follow Christ. To obey Christ. To imitate Christ. Those are very key foundational elements for us as Christians. But how much more should we keep the main thing as we prepare for Easter, as we want to fully engage Christ and the resurrection and celebrate. And he goes on to say this. So we've covered self-denial. We've covered taking up the cross, following Christ. The next thing is this. Is proclamation. It says, for whoever is ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him the Son of Man will also be ashamed when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. I don't want to be ashamed of Jesus' words. I don't want to be ashamed of Jesus. This is the perfect time to get it out with my family, with my neighbor, a co-worker, or with those who've never heard. This is no better opportunity to keep the main thing, and to lift up high the story of the gospel, the story of the resurrection, the story of the risen Christ. So friends, today, I just want to encourage you in this. Let's don't have any other agenda. Let's don't have any other plan than obeying Jesus and walking in the power of the Holy Spirit to deny ourselves, take up the cross, follow him, and let others know. Thank you.